talking about changing the duration of the transitions. So I changed my default duration to 15 frames now. If I want to go back to what it was, I can either go here on effects and then choose set default transition duration here, or I could go to Premiere Preferences and go to timeline and change it back to what it was. I think it was 30 frames, right? The default before. And then I'll say OK. It doesn't change the duration of the transitions you already have applied, but it will change the duration of how long it is from here on when you apply your next transition from here on. So it's a longer duration. It's double the duration of what it was. Okay. Default duration. This is just talking about using the home key to jump to the very beginning of your timeline. You can always use home to jump your playhead to the very beginning, and you can use end to go to the very end. Home. And a cool use of a single-sided transition is to put them in clips on higher tracks so they gradually reveal or cover up what's below them in the timeline. Oh, there's a hand raised. Tracy, you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I'll just ask it later when you're done, if that's okay.
Okay. So cross dissolve or whatever. Another use of a single-sided transition is instead of using keyframing to do like a fade in from black, you could just drag in a transition at the very beginning. So now that's going to create a fade in, and you can extend the length of the transition to make it more gradual or shorten it to make it more sudden. And what it's saying is another use of a single-sided transition is if you put a clip on the video 2 track. If I go and I find, let's see, the flames. You don't need the rubber bands if you use the transition. Do you like the transition better than the keyframing? Yeah. So if you prefer that, go for it. Whoops, I'm going to make this a much shorter duration. Okay, so if I take the flames and I put them here, I could also put a transition like a dissolve on one side of this clip. So instead of using the rubber bands, I'm using a transition to fade into the flames like that. And if I want to fade back out of the flames, I could add transition again on the end of the clip. Oops, that's just too much. There, let's move that over. So now we have cross dissolve dissolving into the flames and then dissolving back out of the flames, and then too much cross dissolve. I'm going to delete that. Sometimes cuts are good. You don't always have to have transitions on every cut. That's why we did a cuts only edit with our cutting on action to make the cuts work. But transitions can be used to spruce up your work when you use them sparingly. Sequence display changed. This is talking about rendering. When sometimes you'll see a red line appear above your timeline, and you want to preview what's under that red line in real time, because chances are when there's a red line there, it's not going to be playing back accurately. Let me see if I have, like the morph cut, it did look a little messy here. And actually it's not even playing this back right now very well. So when you see that red, it's probably not playing back accurately. So you can set your work area to just preview that little section. So I'm going to turn my work area on by going to the little menu here, and I'm going to choose work area bar, and let me zoom out, and I can adjust my work area to be just around that little section. I'm going to press plus to zoom in. Just dragging my work area to start at the beginning and end around this transition, because there's a red line there, meaning that these frames need rendering. Then when you go to the sequence drop down, you can choose to render effects in work area. And you can also do that by pressing return. This arrow symbolizes pressing return or enter. So it's rendering this little section now. So it should play it back in real time a little bit smoother, but it still looks a little weird, because the morph cut wasn't intended to be on that type of cut. Okay, so that's what that's about. This, you might have noticed already, the timeline view button when you're in effect controls, and we've looked at these little parameter change buttons that change the directions of different transitions that you'll find in your effect controls. So just be on the lookout for those options there. So when you go to Premiere and you select I think I'm done with the MAOP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I could save all my projects that are open, because I've got 2 projects open now. And then I can close the project that's currently open. And now I'm back to just having this one project open, my slideshow.
Navi, is there any way you could show us how you want us to how do you want us to put it in Canvas?
Yes. So tomorrow I'll show you that, because we're out of time, and I'm gonna have to wrap up the lesson tomorrow. I wanted to try to get it all in today, but we just have a little bit more lesson tomorrow, and then we can also have free time. We could do free time first if you prefer, because I know you guys have a lot of questions that you need answered. So tomorrow will be the day for the free time where I can answer those questions. And
do you have a video on that, so I could give you my project?
Yes.